as a young adult and a new wife and a new mom, life started to get overwhelming and grow really fast. And I didn't have a relationship with God at the time. And yeah, we belonged to a church. We got our kids baptized. We went to church on special occasions, but I had no relationship with God. I had no conversations with him outside of church, and I didn't ask for anything from him. I didn't know what he would want with me. So the stresses of life and parenthood and began to mount, and my children's lives got bigger, and I took it upon myself to just like hold their lives in my hands, feeling like I was the only one responsible for like every aspect of their life. And that got really heavy, really fast. And I remember at some point feeling like it was so heavy that it was just like pushing me into a hole in the ground, and I was just going to like disappear. And it started unraveling me even physically from the inside. It was making me sick. It was making me ball up into a corner and cry. And for years, I hid it from everyone, even my husband, and thinking it was something that was wrong with me. So once it started making me physically ill, I couldn't hide it anymore. You know, Paul had picked me up off the ground way too many times, and we tried medication and different things, but nothing was working. Granted, in hindsight, God was knocking on my door the whole time. And I see now the little bits and pieces of him just kept plugging away at me, thinking, come on, girl, let me in, let me in. And finally, when I did open the door for him, the flood just came, and I would sing the Good, Good Father out loud and just bawl, and to feel his presence in me, it was just something I had needed for my whole life. And looking back now, I can't believe I didn't have him there. I can't imagine how things might have been different for me. So one of my first women's Bible studies was Ephesians on the armor of God. And I remember first learning about how to trust him and the tools he had for me to deal with the stress and the anxiety and the physical effects it had on me. And I would stand in front of the mirror, even like I was a superhero, and I would put on my armor, and I would put on my belt, and I would put on my helmet, and I would stand with my sword. And you know, it was a great visual of all of those, that power that he gave back to me. I learned I could let go of my children's lives, and that he could love them more than I do. Even when they're finally left me and went out into the world, that he would care for them. That was hard to trust him with that, but it was necessary for my health. And each moment still of each day is a choice to continue trusting him. I use a thankful prayer every day to remind me of everything I do have that's positive in my life, even though the negatives want to scream out at you. And I really think those thankful thoughts just push out all the negative. I really find it helpful to have reminders everywhere, on my fridge, you know, on the bathroom mirror, everywhere, of the messages that God gives us and reminds us to trust him. That's what I got.
Do you have any favorite scriptures or songs or any other helpful little tools for when you find yourself going back towards anxious thoughts or fears?
I like to visualize God holding me and me being able to just like let go, like physically just let go of everything, and he can just hold me like a father. Jesus has given me room to breathe and to have a faith that he has a plan for me, and that just because my plan isn't working out just doesn't mean that I did it wrong, but it's just that he has this grander plan for me that is much easier to see in hindsight. And when things aren't going my way, I just look forward to the ending because I know it's going to be better than what I had planned. I like to control things, and every day I struggle with giving that to him, but he keeps showing me more often and more often, or maybe it's just me that my eyes are more open to it, but he knows what he's doing.
What would be the one thing that, if they hear nothing else, what's the one thing you want them to hear from your story?
You know, God's unconditional love, that he wants more for you than you could even imagine wanting for yourself. He's got great things planned that you might not think you deserve. Something like that.
So, Karie, we're here together on Easter Sunday, listening to your story and just kind of reflecting on the beauty that is Easter. And what does Jesus' gift to us mean to you in light of everything that you've been through? What does it mean to you to have a Savior?
It means that no matter that I didn't acknowledge him for the first half of my life, and no matter the bad choices I made, he still wants me, and he wants the best for me, and he won't give up on me. That's what his saving grace is to me.